laugh, laugh, Craig Hafer. Do these keys look exactly the same to you? It was the 4th of July evening, 2014. It was beautiful weather. And the day before, I had packed up everything into my car to move to Park City, Utah, following the love of my life. The most amazing and beautiful person I know, my wife, Kay. I didn't know much about condo living. I didn't know, apparently, the difference between a condo key and any other kind of key. So when we went out for a walk that evening, Hay said to me, "Do you have the key to the condo?" And I said, "Yes, I got it." We had a beautiful walk that evening. We walked for about half an hour, and we got back to the condo, and I pulled the key out of my pocket. And Hay just started laughing. Well, not yet. Hay's condo was on the 2nd floor. So we went back outside the building, and I could climb up onto the railing of the 1st floor deck and I could reach the deck of Hay's condo. We left the back door open to let a little breeze in. So I could reach up and I could pull myself up and look in. I could see the door open. I could see that deck. It was so close. I could almost just feel myself walking over and going through and unlocking the door. I let myself back down. I thought, this is so close. There must be a way. So I pulled myself up again. But I couldn't see myself grabbing onto these vertical rails to pull myself up the rest of the way. I let myself down. I pulled myself up one more time just to measure. I let myself down. And then Hay had returned with a hose that she had borrowed from a neighbor. We were about the only ones out there. It was just starting to get dark. The 4th of July, people were out. Hay said, "Do you think this will work? This hose will work?" And I said, "I don't think so, but let's try." So we threw it up over the railing, pulled it down, and it was too slippery. So we pulled it back down. Hay returned the hose, and she came back with a rake. And she said, "Do you think this will work?" And I said, "Yes, I think that'll work." So I borrowed a hammock from the 1st floor deck. It had the nice rope on it and canvas. We threw it up over the railing, and we used that rake to pull it down so we could tie it in a knot. By this time, I realized that my arms were just a little fatigued from the shit I'd been doing. So I started to pull myself, and I said, "Nope, this isn't going to work." So we returned the hammock. And about this time, our neighbor, Rob, returned. It was starting to get a little bit dark. We told Rob our predicament, our wallets, everything was locked including the key to the condo, was locked in the condo. And I said, "Hey Rob, we had a new idea now." And I said, "Hey Rob, could we borrow your credit card to drive to Walmart to buy a ladder?" And Rob looked at me and said, "No!" And I said, "Hey Rob, could we borrow some cash? We'll return it right as soon as we get back from Walmart and get our keys and get into the apartment." Rob looked at me and said, "No!" I could see the wheels cranking in Rob's head. Rob said, "Hey, why don't you just call a locksmith?" And I said, "Well, that's a great idea, Rob. Can I borrow your phone?" Rob looked at me and said, "No!" "I'll make the call for you." And we watched Rob for what seemed like 5 minutes, but was probably only about 20 seconds. And Rob looked at me and said, "I'm too drunk." You make the call. So I called up the locksmith, and who would have known that 4th of July would be the busiest time for locksmiths? And it took him about an hour to get there. It was very dark by this time. We saw him drive up the street, and we waved him over. We brought him up, and he got out his locksmith tools, you know, like the ones you see on James Bond. We waited 5-10 minutes. He kept working. He couldn't get it open. He had one more tool in his bag. It was a blow-up bladder, very thin, heavy-duty. He slipped it between the door and the door jamb, blew it up to separate the door and the door jamb. The door popped open. I wrote him a check, and he left the receipt, set it on the counter, and I set it on the counter. Hay walked in, and she looked at the receipt. $395. Oh. Well, Hay just started laughing. Well, not yet. If there's a moral to this story, when you get into a difficult situation, laugh about it, even if you have to laugh at a later time.
The last contestant has spoken, and the judges will now have some time to complete their balance. So if you could please be quiet. Judges, please remember to tear off the bottom